Yeah.
Preparing to live stream the meeting.
It says we're live. Are we live?
It says it's preparing.
Oh,
Let
over
me
here
look.
it said it went live.
Let me
Hi,
get on
y'all.
YouTube. I don't see it yet on the YouTube.
I know. This is what I do every time. Yes. Okay. Now listen. Okay, for anybody that's here already, y'all know I be tripping. So let me see. I gotta take this down. I think this is it. Hold on.
Okay. Let me refresh my screen. Oh, yeah, we're live, Charlotte.
I know. We okay.
Hello, Internet.
Is this it, guys? Are we live now?
We are
We did
live.
it.
Somebody
Here.
let us know. I don't know. Are you sure?
We are here. We're on the screen. Yes.
All right, that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad because, typically I'll take my 5, 6, 7, 10, 11 minutes to get myself together on this live situation. So listen,
You got
I
it.
am so happy to be here live with you. You two are just kind of really such premier ladies in this Black sis situation. And most people that know about Black people moving abroad, particularly Black women moving abroad, they know about Stephanie and Roshida. So I'm going to introduce myself for those of you who don't know me, and also just let the ladies introduce themselves, and then we're going to get into it, all right? Okay.
We're ready.
All right. So I am Charlotte Van Horn, CEO and founder of Black Expats in Panama. We do cultural relocation tours to Panama 9 months out the year. We take people, we're a full service tour operator now. We have just completed our 31st Black Expats in Panama cultural relocation tour, and it is on and popping. I absolutely love doing it. I love bringing Black people to other places and letting us experience Black culture in those spaces, because I think that it's important for us to just understand how we are connected. And there's a lot of people that say, they want to go back to Africa and things like that, and that's fine. Whatever you want to do is fine. For me, Africa is a little bit far, but there are so many places that are closer that we were dropped off, and you can find your connections, and you can find the parallel stories that we have. Is just amazing. So when you come on a Black Expats in Panama cultural relocation tour, it's a lot more than relocation. It is about culture. It is for us, by us. I am a completely Black owned, operated business and absolutely loving life. And I'm here and I'm talking to Stephanie and Roshida today, which you all know them very well. But we're talking about reinventing ourselves and when the honeymoon is over. So I hope that you can chime in. And so let's say, go ahead, Steph. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself to the people?
Sure. Hello, people. My name is Stephanie Perry. I'm a house sitter, and I'm one of the co-creators of Exodus Summit. I spend about half the year in Costa Rica, but I've been a full-time traveler since 2015. I'm from exotic Dover, Delaware, and that explains why I spend so much time away. Okay, no offense, Charlotte, who was my neighbor in New Jersey.
Right.
And I really, really enjoy seeing Black women decide to opt out of the stuff that we're quote unquote supposed to do, being the hard worker, being the go-to girl for all kinds of things. I love to see Black women doing as little as possible, seeing the world if that's what you want to do, and living out your dreams instead of someone else's dreams. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Hello.
I am Roshida. Did you tell them? You said you're in Costa Rica. You told them that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I am Roshida Dowe. I am the other co-creator of Exodus Summit. I am a career break coach. I help women leave things in their lives that don't serve them, to go find their joy wherever it is around the world. And I live in Mexico City. I've been here on and off, mostly on, since 2019. And I love it here. I love exploring the world. I love helping Black women reach their dreams. And so I'm so excited to come here to you today to talk to Charlotte, talk to Charlotte's fans, and tell you a little bit more about the Summit.
That's right.
Wow. So tell me this, Roshida, how did you decide on Mexico City?
I'm a big vibes person. Like, I'm very much like, I like it here. I'd like to be here. Like, that's how I picked a college. I stepped on a college campus and I was like, this is where I want to be. And so it's the same kind of thing in Mexico City. I visited a bunch of times. And then once when I was here with a friend, we just left the hotel and it arrived that morning, walked around, and I just said to her, why don't I live here? And she said, why don't you? And I was like, first of all, it's rude. It's rude to answer a rhetorical question, right? Like, or like even answer a question with a question was also, there was so much rudeness happening there. I was like, ew, like I didn't, because that was a challenge of like, I couldn't find a reason not to. And so that was January of 2019. I moved there in May of 2019. It's been my home since then.
Wow. So 5 months later, you were there.
Yeah. I was on a year-round trip around the world, and it was supposed to be over in May, and I thought I was going to move back when I left the Bay Area in May 2018. I thought that in May 2019, I'd be moving back to Oakland again, but in May 2019, instead, I moved to Mexico City.
So what about you, Stephanie? How did you decide on Costa Rica?
I came to Costa Rica years and years ago on a vacation, and I just remember thinking, these people are the best people in the world, right? They were so nice. And it was just a short vacation. I don't even think it was 6 days. I did a whole lot of traveling all over, and it was like, oh, I want to be with the best people. I want to be in a place. So I'd made a little list, right? I made a little list of my requirements. I wanted to be someplace where I didn't get stared at all the time. As a Black woman, there are places that I really enjoy being, like in Southeast Asia. I really enjoy Southeast Asia, right? I really love being there, but I get stared at all the time. And sometimes you get sick of it. I wanted to be in a place where I could be in community with people and not always be the outsider, the foreigner, the stranger, right? I wanted to be in a place where people would start speaking the local language to me, like they thought I lived there.
Yes.
And I needed to be able to fly back and forth. My parents live in Dover, Delaware still, so I needed to get back to Delaware, when I need to. I needed to get home really recently and it didn't work out like I thought it would, but I'm still closer than if I was, somewhere else. So I had a list. I had a list of the things I needed. I don't like winter weather. I'm boycotting winter. I don't want to deal with winter weather anymore, ever. No more.
Ever. I always say, I don't care if I'm never cold another day in my life. I'm from Jersey, right? And so I know about that. And I've just never lived in a place where there was not a winter.
Yeah. They always tell you need winter. You need things to die off in winter so they can be reborn in spring. It's a lie. It's a lie.
Lies. Listen, and not only that, I like living in a place where I do not need 4 seasons of clothes.
Right.
Now, I still have some downsizing to do, but Panama never gets cold. No. Panama was my choice, and Panama was my choice kind of by default because my husband is Panamanian. And when I met him 31 years ago, and he said, yeah, I think he was like 37 or 38. And he was like, yeah, when I retire, I'm going back to Panama. And I was like, oh, that's nice. And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, where and what is Panama? And then second of all, it's like, I don't know why anyone would want to live anywhere other than the United States. That is really honestly what I thought. You had never thought about having a passport back then. I met my husband, I was about 29. I didn't get my first passport until I was 40. Yeah. Got my first passport when I was 40, but I really didn't think I needed to be anywhere else and other than the United States. But I am so happy that I ended up with him and ended up exploring other places because of him. And so that's how we ended up here. So let me ask, how did you two meet?
We met online. We had someone who followed us both online, wanted to talk to each of us individually about taking a career break. This was probably the very first time someone reached out to me and said, I want to take a career break, but I don't ever see other people doing it. So I want to talk to a Black woman. I want to talk to you about what this experience was like. And at the end of my call, she was like, do you know Stephanie Perry? I feel like you guys would get along, or something like that. And I was like, I don't. And then I started following, I think, Stephanie on Instagram. And then a little while later, I asked Stephanie if I could interview her on my YouTube channel, one of the very first videos on my YouTube channel. I think definitely probably the very first interview on my channel. And that was it from my perspective. Stephanie's,
That's it.
Yeah.
That's how we met. We met on the internet and did a lot of projects and things and stuff on the internet before we ever met in the real world.
It just clicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, we met online in, I want to say, like February or March of 2019, and then we met in person in 2021, maybe January 2021.
Yeah.
So we'd already done a summit together. We've already done like YouTube videos together and a summit together before we actually met in person.
And I love how you all promote collaborations. Collaborations is very, very important and sometimes can be very tricky, especially when you have pretty much the same interest. You know what I'm saying? And then just trying to find, that balance and not stepping on each other's toes and really being able to work together. And I don't know if you all realize how special that is. Especially, I mean, for y'all to meet and then just start working together. It's like, my bestie, Karen Williams, is just that person in my life. We've been best friends for 45 years. She's that person in my life that I never get tired of. And, is my biggest cheerleader. She knows more about me than anyone in this world. Okay. And if she ever got mad at me, I would have to hurt her bad. I would have to hurt her bad. I'm just saying. But, I can work with her and I know, we can trust each other. But I mean, I think it's really special how you all didn't really know each other, but you're still like, okay, well, let's do this. And then look what it's grown into. Yeah. So now, one of the things that we want to definitely talk about is the Exodus Summit. So tell us about your first summit and what's happened since then, and take us all the way up to what's coming in October.
Start, Steph.
Our first summit was September of 2020. We decided that we would put together a virtual summit for Black women who wanted to move abroad or take a sabbatical, and it was too big. It ended up being a 7-day event. We had, I don't know, I think we had 40 or 50 total speakers.
50 plus speakers.
Yeah. But it was wonderful. What happened was we hosted the summit, and during the summit, Black women were taking leaves from their jobs, quitting their jobs, putting in requests for leave of absence or some sort of sabbatical. Black women were planning their moves abroad right then and there. And that's when we knew that this was something that we had to keep doing. We didn't want to keep talking about moving abroad, but not give Black women a time and a space to actually put their plan together. Because, we're busy. People have a lot of things going on. Yeah. And so we love that we made this summit a time, an event, a space when Black women can sit down and work on the plan to live out their dreams instead of just living the everyday. We're so used to, the habit of everyday that it's really special. It's really wonderful to have a space where somebody can come in, even if she's not exactly sure that she can move abroad, even if she wants to, but she's not exactly sure this is going to work out, not sure how she's going to do it, how she's going to plan it, but she can come into the summit, learn from the speakers, get in community with the rest of the Exodus Summit squad, and leave with some progress, leave with a plan.
Yeah. And one of the great things about Exodus over the years is our summit's always been at the end of September or beginning of October. And every year by January, we hear from a woman who attended the summit and is now abroad. By January, every year, it's like, because like Stephanie said before, it's not just a place to come and be inspired by women who have done it before you. It's a place to come and identify the actions that you can take to do the same thing. So what are the actions I can take? What are people showing me that I didn't know about that I can use to put my plan into action? And, you know, January 2025, I'm here from a whole bunch of women who are like, I'm out of the country now. And it just makes me
Wow.
happy.
We know that is, I think it's like an evolution. And I think that the more people see people look like them doing things, the more comfortable they get in even just thinking about it. Because like you said, Stephanie, it's like you may not have to be ready to come today, but you know, you can, you know, start, you know, at least thinking about putting a plan in motion. We started the relocation tours. The first tour was May of 2021. I built my business in the height of COVID. I mean, my business was literally built. It was started in 2019. 2019, right? Yeah, this is like all of us. 2019 was like a real pivotal year. But it started in the height of COVID. And you know, it was just kind of something that really wasn't being done. And I kept, and then when George Floyd, Karen in the Park, Donald Trump, and COVID hit that day in May, everything changed. And then that's when I needed to become a relocation specialist, pretty much, and created that. But when I tell you, there is such a significant difference between the people who came on my first tour and the people who came on my 31st tour. The people that came on the first tour, just think, we still in COVID, May 2021, we still in COVID. Nobody was really like, you know, everybody was just really start thinking, let's get out of here, right? And so they didn't have a whole lot of examples of us doing this in a big way, right? And when they would come, they would be so timid. You know, they were timid, they would come and like, this is really nice, but you could tell that they just really couldn't see it for themselves. Or they were afraid to invest in something that was foreign, you know, that they didn't know. But so they would come and they would think about it, they would pray about it. I said they talk about it, ask people that don't know nothing about it, and then they would just go to the wayside. You know, they lose the steam or enthusiasm compared to the people that are coming now. The people that are coming now are coming with their appointment with the attorney already. You know, our attorneys, they come in, they're going to Prime Solutions, they're getting their residency before they go back. People are coming and they are getting their apartments before they go back. People are coming and coming back 2 months later to live. So it's like now people, and a lot of that has to do with people like you know, being able to, you know, get yourself out there, you know, talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and also providing these summits, you know, for people to continue to learn.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to see, in the beginning, we saw a difference between, we see a difference in the women who were the first to go and the women who are leaving now. But it's a little different, I think, inside of the summit. We saw in the beginning, a lot of the women were retirees or women who had some cash, right? Women who had some cash sitting around were the first who were like, got it, okay? I'm gonna do what you told me, I'm leaving. And now we're seeing women who don't have that, right? Women who need remote jobs, women who are running their own businesses, women who a few years ago thought it would be totally impossible for them to be somewhere else. Now we're seeing that wave of Black women move wherever they feel like it, leave the country, either to go to one place or to bop around and see a whole bunch of places or something in between. Yeah.
Roshida? You got anything to say about that?
No, I think I agree with what Stephanie said. I agree with Stephanie. No, we've seen that change, but we've also seen so many more women who weren't even thinking about it in 2019, in 2020, 2021, saying, "Oh, I didn't know this was an option for me." But now that I know it's an option, how do I do it next week, right? And so it's this constantly evolving kind of situation where we are, it's kind of like an expanding web, right? Like we help teach someone, we bring in women who teach this woman one thing, and then she goes off to teach more women. And it's this really beautiful like transference of information and energy and a creation of community that wasn't around when I didn't know, I couldn't identify or find when I first moved abroad.
Right.
Or when I was thinking about it.
8 years to make a friend here.
I'm sorry?
It took me like 8 years
Really?
to make a friend here. Whereas now people can literally come in, like, especially when you come on the tour, you make friends right there.
Mhm.
And then we do the tour like in group, in numbers. So you're from beat tour number whatever. Like I was in California last week and I met with 2 people from beat tour number 8. And here we are at beat tour number 31. We stay connected by WhatsApp. So you kind of fall into a family. And then we've created these groups, like these subgroups within Panama City area that you can also helps people to find their tribes. But regarding women, also what I'm seeing, and you can tell me if you guys are seeing it, is women just saying, you know what, those couple of more years, a little bit of money in the big scheme of things, it's not going to change or make my life no better. So you know what, I'm out. Are you seeing more of that?
I'm seeing more of women realizing that the things that they thought were roadblocks are at best like a little crack in the sidewalk, right? Like years ago, we got the question about men much more than we do now, right? Years ago, when we first started this, it was like, I would get emails from women who were like, I want to move abroad, but I want to get married. And I'm like, I mean, if you're dating Prince Charming right now, like stay where you are. But if you're not, you know what I mean? What are you giving up? Sometimes it is, I want to move abroad, but I don't have $20 million. Well, you're not going to have $20 million next year. So, just do the thing. And so a lot of it has, I think what shifted a lot is people are becoming a little bit more realistic about, or a little bit more accepting about where they are and what the potential overseas is. I think that a lot of times Black American women specifically had the idea that if they were not in America, they would be dying alone. And now they're seeing Black women who look like them flourishing in other countries. And I think some of that has helped change it too. I think they've seen women who say, oh no, my rent is $700 a month. And they're like, wait, what? Where? Right? So the people who've gone out and been these possibility models, which is a word someone used at our last summit that I really loved. These women have gone out and been these possibility models for other women, are showing them that thing you thought was needed to keep you in America isn't really true, right? You'll be all right, sis. You'll be all right. Let me show you how to do this. And that's what's changed a lot for me.
Yeah. We're also seeing you, Charlotte, you said just now, fall into a family. We're also seeing women pull their sisters along, right? There are plenty of women who would still take 6 or 8 or 12 years to move abroad if their friends let them, but they happen to have gotten themselves in community with women in the places that they want to go. And so those women pull them a little bit faster. They get a little bit of extra momentum. They come there, they go to your tour, they go to visit somebody, they go show up in a city and say, hey, I'm in town. Anybody here? Can anybody come to lunch with me? And those women that they meet up with help get them there a little bit faster.
Roshida, if you see any questions, let me know. Okay, you better at that than I am. Okay, can you help us, sister out?
I don't see any questions right now.
So let me say 2 things. First of all, you're dying alone in the US. I'm just saying. Okay, Sistas is dying alone in the US. I mean, I see way too much of it. I see so many amazing Black women who are alone. Okay, and not to say that, we mind being alone. We're not desperate. And listen, if I wasn't married, I don't know that I would be looking to remarry. I wasn't the type that was looking to get married in the first place, because I'm okay with me. All right. However, I see a lot of that in the US as it is. And actually, I think there are some places that you go where, I think your beauty might be more appreciated. you know, your beauty. Not only that, your tenacity. Black women we're very courageous. And the other thing about the Black women is that we are leading this Blacksit. Black women are doing the dang thing. And I would say, honestly, guys, for me and my tours, I would say if I had to really kind of break it down, probably at least 75 to 80% of the people that come on my tour are women who come alone and women who are over 50. Okay, that is like the bulk of it. You have some situations where you have husband and wife, situations, but honestly, women are leading this.
Right. Absolutely. I think we just have too many examples of what happens when you try to put your life off, right? When you try to put things off until this magic number, until this magic person shows up, until whatever. We see it. We see what that looks like. We don't want it. We don't want to keep putting our life off until our last day, right? Until it's too late. We got to live.
I had somebody come on a tour recently, and we were talking like after the tour was over, because literally she came on the tour, and the next month she was living here. This thing keeps refocusing, y'all. I know. All right. And she came, and next thing she was here, and we were talking, and she said that one of her kids said to her, she was like, "Ma, you're not coming back, are you?" Sorry, I'm not, but you can come here. So, speaking about women moving abroad, reinventing themselves and everything, because so many women are older, they have these different things that they deal with, the kids, because they got the kids, now they got the grandkids, now they got, what I mean, where they've been all their life. And, and I'm older now, and I don't know if I'm going to be okay if I'm out here by myself and all these things. Then they see other sisters that's doing it, and they say, well, wait a minute. Let me check this out. So have you seen, as far as the people who come to your summit and the people who follow you, have you seen an uptick in the age at all? Or has the demographics changed since you've been doing it?
I don't know, but it's changed. We've always had a very large percentage of women that are 60 plus. And I would say right now, if we're looking at 65, like if you do it on the fives, 45, 55, 55 to 65, 65 to 75, I would say that 65 to 75 is probably one of our biggest groups of people. They're out of here. Yeah. What am I sticking around for? I could go to warm weather. I could spend less money. For a lot of them, like their Social Security is covering all of their expenses, or their pension is covering all of their expenses. Why not? Why wouldn't you? And, we talk about family, and there's this idea that people have. For a country that is not really built on community, like America really isn't built on community, the idea of community is really, really hammered home, in the sense that like one of the fears we hear a lot are like, if I move away, I won't ever see my family. And it's like, I've had more people visit me in Mexico City than I did when I lived in Columbus, Ohio. Like, people are coming through here all the time. When I was in Ohio, they were like, ew, it's cold. And what is out there? Okay. Fair, right? But also, like, if you don't live in the same town as your parents right now, or the same state as your grandchildren, if you live somewhere in another place in North America, like Mexico, if you live in Central America, is it really going to be that much harder to see them than it would be if you're in a different state? If you're in DC and they're in California, you still got to do the flight. You still have to make the arrangements. You still got to get up and go. As long as you have a passport and the people you want to see have a passport, you'll see them, right? Like if they'll come to you, you go back to the US. There's a lot of the trap. When I moved here, my mom was still living in Florida. I could not get her to leave my apartment because she liked it here. She didn't want to, once she realized how nice Mexico City was, she was like, I don't want to go back to Florida. She would come on an open-ended ticket. And I'd be like, so when are you going home? And she'd say, oh, I don't know.
No.
Girl, could you find, right? And she didn't do that when I was in Ohio, right? I see her more now than I did then. And I think for a lot of people, it's the same story. As you know, it might be harder if you are, you know, in Madagascar when you got to take like 4 flights to get there, right? It might be harder if you are in Cambodia, Mexico, Panama, Costa Rica, not that hard to get to.
They'll be there. They're coming. Okay, they're coming down.
They are coming.
It's easier to get to those places than some places, like you said, from in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It,
right.
it really is. Yes,
I dropped the link to dropped your affiliate link in the chat.
Okay, excellent. So y'all go and sign up for that Exodus at that amazing link that she just dropped in. Thank you. You're so amazing. They're helping me out, y'all, because y'all know I'm a little green, especially when it comes to live. Okay, so you all have been very instrumental in women making moves and things like that. When you have the summit this year, like what are the things that you're most excited about sharing this year?
This year, our theme or our focus is the quick exit, right? Helping speed up some people's exits. Some of the women who think, oh, it's going to take me 4 years. All right. This year, our plan is to help speed that up. We're always excited to talk about the logistics, we're always excited to talk about the things that lead to money. So we're talking finding remote work, because a lot of people are a remote job away from being out of the country. We're excited to have a session for the first time ever. We have a session on how to approach your employer about taking either a leave of absence or about going fully remote, right? How to negotiate the flexible work arrangement that you would need. In the past, we found HR people are like, oh, I don't think that's possible. I don't think you can negotiate these things. We finally have Francis, who is an HR executive and who has taken a sabbatical, coming in to teach about how to position this so that you can go to your employer and, at least give a strong pitch so that you don't have to start searching for a job to go abroad. The job you have can be the job that takes you out of the country.
That's a big piece. I mean, if you're still like working age, that is a big piece, because one thing about moving abroad is that there are countries that, unlike the United States, protects professions for their people.
Right.
So in Panama, you're not going to, you could be a doctor all day long in the United States. You're not coming here and putting no white coat on, baby. You're not finna do it. They protect. And it's not just the high level professions. I mean, it's certain retail things that you can't do. One person, and then it's like, and if you come here under a pensionado, then there are additional restrictions, because you're coming as somebody who is supposedly like retired, and you're not supposed to earn money here. So there are ways that you can get around that, and they should talk to their attorneys about it. But it's very important to know. And I think it's very important to constantly remind people that this is a situation that they can come into. So giving them practical steps and that information is a big piece.
That's right.
One of the other big pieces that people worry about a lot is healthcare. And I think it's, ingrained in us, if you live in America, that like your access to healthcare is always very tenuous. You lose that job, you ain't got no healthcare. You got a new job, you got to wait 3 months. So don't break a bone, right? So we have actually 3 sessions. Listen, don't hurt yourself. We have 3 sessions this year covering healthcare. One, we have a doctor coming in, a medical doctor in the US coming in to talk about what to do before you move abroad to make sure that you're able to transition your care. If you're getting any kind of like ongoing care, if you have any issues you really care about, how to transition that to a new doctor overseas, what to take with you, what to make sure you get from your doctor, etc. We have someone talking about getting, using health insurance schemes schemes is not the right word, but health insurance abroad.
Plan.
Plans. Thank you. Health insurance plans.
She gets schemes.
Listen,
Gets schemes from plans.
schemes is one of those words. I think it's British, right? Where they use
in the
it.
UK, they use
the UK,
scheme for
they use-
plan, and it sounds really shady to us.
Yes,
Yeah.
Listen, I'm British. I brought it back for a minute. So yes, they how to use your health insurance plan or how to access it in different countries, what it looks like. And then we have someone else talking about finding good care, like what you need to do to make sure you're finding the right care abroad. So we're very excited about these healthcare things because that's one of the biggest things we hear from people.
Yes.
I bet you hear it too. What am I going to do about health?
Absolutely.
What am I going to do, et cetera. So we're super excited about those.
I wish we could just tell people, don't worry about it. Like,
yeah, right.
You say it every year. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine.
Healthcare is not the thing to be worried about. It's
Once
not
you leave the US, it's so much easier, but no one believes us when we say that. So we have 3 sessions.
We only know what we know.
Yes.
We only know what we know. And when we think of healthcare in the United States, we think of if something happens to me, I'm not going to be able to afford it. I'm going to end up being in bankruptcy and all of these different things. Whereas honestly, first of all, one of the things that I've learned is that, you also hear a whole lot about US having the best healthcare, and that's debatable. Okay, in a big way, it is debatable, but they tell us a whole lot of stuff. But the healthcare is just not what you know it to be. So going to so if you don't have insurance and you go to the doctor and they say, well, you're going to need an ultrasound, you're going to be like, I'm going to die because I ain't got no ultrasound money. Whereas you might go for an ultrasound here. I mean, the last ultrasound here, I think it cost me $150. $150. And it was performed by a doctor. I didn't know there was such a thing as a doctor of radiology. I really didn't, because I ain't never met one to know. You know what I mean? When you go to ultrasound, you get a technician, baby, and they can't tell you nothing. They can't tell you nothing because they're not qualified to do so. This doctor not only did ultrasounds on both of my rotator cuffs, and he sat there and he talked to me. That's the other thing about, healthcare here in Panama is that they actually take the time to stop and talk to you. So in addition to you spending way less money, because I had to spend what I spent on that ultrasound, I would have spent as a copay, probably with other types of insurances. But it is something that people think about, and it's something that you should consider because anything can happen. On my tours, we have a doctor on our team, Dr. Ricardo Duncan, baby. Not only is he just an amazing doctor, watch the chat just light up, Roshida, because I'm telling you, these Black expats know they love them some Dr. Duncan. Nobody better not say nothing bad about Dr. Duncan. I mean to tell you, but Dr. Duncan got them so spoiled. He check on them. It's that bedside manner that we don't get in the United States. You deal with your doctors on WhatsApp here, and they're constantly, checking on you. I had a colonoscopy here, and I mean, if there's any such thing as a really good colonoscopy, I think I had one better than I've ever had, a more positive, thorough experience than I've ever had in the United States. And what made it even is that it was done by an all-Black team. The anesthesiologist was Black. The doctor was Black. The nurses was Black. It's like, wait, and it was just a very positive experience for me. I was just talking about Michael Jackson, baby, because whatever they gave me, it was right. I literally woke up talking about, this is what Michael Jackson was doing. Yes, I could get used to this. It was so cool. But, I introduced people to the doctor. And the doctor, that's another thing that helps them have a soft landing, because they know Dr. Duncan. They know they can call him up. When people say to me, Charlotte, I'm on this medication, I'm concerned because it's a special medication. I don't know if they have it in Panama. You know what I mean? I don't, and I call Dr. Duncan. I put them together. Some things you could buy over the counter, so it's a whole different situation. I'm glad that you guys are talking about the healthcare situation. I want to say real quick, hang on, I just want people to drop in the chat, Roshida, just if you wanted to do something different, like what is it in your life that you've always wanted to do, but haven't done because of this, that, or the third, as old folks used to say. Okay, so just drop that in the chat. Don't even be embarrassed or think, you're too old to do it or whatever. Just whatever that thing is that you've wanted to do and haven't.
Okay.
Or haven't done in a long time.
And Thea had a question. Can I read her question?
Okay.
The healthcare insurance advice you arrange for a medical person will, or does the advice apply to others from another country other than the US? I'm from the UK. So one of the great things about Exodus Summit, and specifically, I'm going to talk about the healthcare advice. We're going to be talking about how healthcare not in the US, but in these other countries around the world that a lot of people are moving to. So whether it's not going to matter where you're coming from, it's going to matter where you're going. We also have a talk about visas, and that's going to be a lot of the same. Sometimes visas matter because it matters what passport you have. But a lot of times, for a lot of the people we're talking to and the countries they're coming from, they get treated the same. So the conversations are generally going to be the same about like, this is how you can expect, what you can expect to experience in the country you're going to, regardless of the country you're coming from. So yes, it will matter to you. The one doctor who's coming in to talk about what you need to get from your doctor, that might differ in the sense that she won't be able to walk you through necessarily how to do it in the UK. But if you need to get your x-rays, you need to get your x-rays, right? Like she's going to tell you, she's going to give you a list of things to make sure you have and information to make sure you have. I don't think that would matter based on the country you're coming from. So I hope that answers your question, Anthea.
Sounds good to me. I think that when you're coming into another country, you don't know what the healthcare is, because some healthcare insurance in the United States does not transfer. And a lot of people here are on Medicare. They're already on Medicare. So like, how does that work and everything? And I don't get into really talking about it because to me it's tricky. And I think that there's sometimes it can be applied, but it has to be applied like as if you're a visitor. And sometimes if you're a resident in some places, then those things happen. But I'm going to be doing a discussion with the sister here in Panama about Medicare Advantage. And we're going to be putting that out soon. Just, information to make people feel more comfortable. And then the other thing with healthcare is that some people strategize. And they go home, they're like, okay, I'm going to be home for 30 days, or I'm going to be home for 6 weeks or whatever. I'm getting all my stuff done. I'm getting my prescriptions in. And then that way you can at least not worry about the stuff that you know about. Mm-hmm. The only thing that you have to worry about is the stuff that you don't know about, right? And in Panama, you can buy little insurance policies. You can buy insurance policies to cover that major medical situation. The rest of the stuff, most of us are going to be able to afford out of pocket.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
That's the good part. But if you get hospitalized, you may need, you may be looking at some money.
That's right. You want to be insured for catastrophic events. You want to be insured in case you have to be medically evacuated. You or your body need to be medically evacuated. You need to make sure that you do have a policy to cover those things. But you're right, that other stuff, you probably just gonna pay out of pocket and gladly pay.
Not smiling, and I think too, the thing about being an expat is it's a choice. Mm-hmm. If you were born and raised in California, Lord have mercy, I just spent a few days out there. Oh my goodness, it's so expensive. If you were born and raised in California and you not making really enough money to live the life that you want there, but that's where you are, and that's where your family is. That's one thing, but being able to say, you know what, I'm gonna do something different. The thing about being an expat is that where you go is your choice. That's why I don't like us to go to other places and then bellyache about it all the time. Why do that? This, you chose this. This is not where you was born. You chose this. So of course nothing is perfect, but to go places and just bellyache about stuff. But so when we go as expats, we go as privileged, because you're going to go somewhere where your money is going to take you the furthest. You're going to go somewhere where you like, you know what? I have someone to clean my house. I have someone to drive me around. I'm living a life that I wasn't really able to live in comfort in the United States.
That's right. That's right. You have those privileges. You have the privilege of being an American. Being an American around the world comes with some advantages, right? People are going to treat you better. They assume you have the money to pay for things, right? You have, a lot of privileges that it's nice to be able to exercise, especially as Black women. We hardly ever get to not have to brace ourselves for, interactions with people, right? I got to go talk to this person. Let's see how they treat me. I got to go to the doctor. Let's see if they treat me well, right? I have to, do this or do that. It's really nice to be abroad, to be in another country and know that you're going to get treated well. It's amazing, actually.
How long? Okay, so that's part of the honeymoon too.
Yeah.
So, going to like the honeymoon, it's like, you can see it in people. When you come to another place, you're just conditioned. We're conditioned. We are conditioned. Like, what she say? What? Who? What? You come in like, I know, you just doing this because I'm Black. And a lot of times in the US, people talk about us, but we know, we know, we just know in our knower when this is some racist bull, And I think that for me, I had to get used to not responding like that in every situation. Not, and having a second thought, having that second thought be the first thought. Like, okay, maybe she's just having a bad day. I'm gonna give her that at the moment. Now, sometimes it's a mess, but for the most part, it's not. And I think that that's a honeymoon. It's like you go in places, you're being respected in those spaces, and you feel better about doing that. So for me, my honeymoon experience was like when I made that final move. I made my big move in November of 2021. And because me and my husband, we've had this house for 12 years. And I just can remember, like, because I was going back and forth. Like I was in Panama once a month for 2 weeks. Every month I would be here for 2 weeks, and I was working my clients here and working my clients in the States. And I just can remember not having to leave. And every morning I would wake up, and I'm telling you guys, I would just be almost in tears. I was so happy. I was so happy to be out of the US. And I would just feel like it's summer every day. It's like, this is vacation. I could do what I want. I'm having fun. And, for me, I was working at the same time, and I'll stay in my house. I'll stay in my house 2 weeks without going out. People say, you're so busy. I'm only busy when I gotta be, when it comes to being out in the streets. But it took me about 2 months before I just said, wow, this is where I live.
Right.
This is where I live.
I sometimes forget that I'm here, I live here, and I'm not just visiting, right? Yes. I want to eat at restaurants all the time. I want to get my food delivered, right? I'm like, girl, you need to start eating like a person who lives here, not like a person who's on vacation here. We're not having drinks every meal, okay? We need to get into real life mode, not vacation mode. Sometimes it's a little tricky, but it feels amazing to be in a place that feels like a vacation, that feel where your
Yes.
environment and the surroundings look like and feel like you're on a getaway. And this is
Yes.
every day for you. It's amazing.
Yes, it is. Also for me, it's like figuring out what you want to do. So for some women that come here, so I had a job. So I had a job. I work 24/7 and I enjoy what I do. You know what I mean? But you have a lot of women who come here and they say, you know what, bye, I'm leaving. And then you come and then that vacation part is over. You're like, okay, well, I mean, this has been, 2 months, 3 months. Now it's just like you're starting to feel like this is home, right?
Mhm.
So then what do you do next? So, the whole thing is about this is an opportunity in our lives to reinvent ourselves. And I didn't really think about it in that way until I have a younger mentor in this tour business here in Panama. And she said, I just admire you so much. Sometimes we forget how old we are because I'm 60. She said, I just admire you so much. And I said, really? Because I think she's a groovy chick, right? And it's trips the Jenny, in case anybody wants to know. Jenny is amazing. And she said, yeah, but you didn't do this before and you just reinvented yourself and now you're like this big tour operator and you're doing so well in the business. And she said, I hope when I'm 60 years old that I can reinvent myself like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I started to think about it.
Yeah. I always say that when you move abroad, you get to decide who you are. There's a point. You move to a new country and you get to decide who you are, especially if no one there has been your friend since you were 2. You don't have is it Karen Williams? You don't have a Karen Williams with you. You can say, I am now Stephanie, who does not cook, although I don't think she ever cooked, who, I like to skateboard. And now you skateboard, right? Like, I like to run, you run. You like movies, you're an artsy person, now you're an artsy person. You just, you get to say who you are and start from scratch and be that person. And that's something I really love about the opportunity I see when people pick up and move somewhere else. You get to decide who you are. Are you a person who wants to be outside every day? Go. You're in the streets, right? If you're a person who has, purple hair, you're the purple haired lady. Who is going to say you've been changing? That's not you. Are you all right? Is something going on? Are you okay? No, this is who you are. It's just who you and there's that opportunity for reinvention that I think I'd love it if more women more people took advantage of this opportunity to say, I've always wanted to be someone who does this. And now I am. Now I am.
That's right. You get to be surrounded by, you have time to be in community with people who are like that.
Yes.
Right. You're not just stuck with the same family members, right? You have an opportunity to be in community with people who are the way that you want to reinvent yourself to be, right? If you want to reinvent yourself into being an artist, you can spend time with artists in your new city. You make that a part of your priority list when you're picking out places. I want to go to an artsy city. Okay.
Yes.
There'll be many opportunities for you to surround yourself with artists and to also be an artist, an artsy person.
Yes.
When you are in a new place, you change, the people that you surround yourself change, and any version of you is possible. Any new version of you.
Yes. I love that.
If you want to start a book club, you don't have your cousin saying, when'd you start reading? Right? No one, right? There's so much possibility and potential. And like Stephanie said, the community will be there. If you do the thing you want to do, it's another great way to build community, right? If you're like, I've always wanted to practice rock climbing on an indoor wall, you're going to meet some indoor rock climbing people who are going to say, sure. You want to learn how to do it in Spanish? Let's go, right? You want to learn how to do it in Thai? Come on, right? And that's a beautiful part. It's a great way to make friends. It's a great way to really get embedded in the community and to make your transition a little easier.
And I think it's a good way to put yourself in the blue zone. One of the things about the blue zone is community, and being active. I think one of the advantages, it could seem like a disadvantage sometimes, but one of the advantages of living in an international space that speaks another language is that we get the opportunity to challenge ourselves in ways that we would not be challenging ourselves otherwise. If you're in your 50s or like me, in your 60s, learning new things, taking advantage of the culture, really just really taking advantage of learning a new culture. To be in a position where you can meet people who are your age or have so much in common with you and just say, let's do it. Like when we plan things, Black expats in Panama, it's like, it don't matter if it's Tuesday.
Yes.
Most of us are not on that grind. We don't have to, what is it, to the drummer's beat? Y'all know that cliche. We don't have to march to the same beat or something like that. We can always do different things. So I think that for me, and I don't know, did anybody put anything in the chat, Roshida? For me, I want to learn how to swim. I'm on a boat every month, y'all, and I don't know how to swim. I am not comfortable in water at all. I love seeing it. I love letting my feet get wet sometimes, but I'm not getting in it. But I'm like, you're on a boat every month. It's irresponsible not to know how to swim. So I need to overcome that. I want to play the guitar. Okay. Oh, yes, honey. I want to play the guitar. Let me tell you, I would be a dope guitarist. I just know it. I want to be a real DJ. Yes, baby. They call me DJ Savannah because on my tour, oh yes, baby, on my tour, I am the DJ with the mostest. They want the playlist. Listen, I read the room, I mix it up, put a little house, a little salsa, a little R&B. Al Green got to be in there somewhere, and I enjoy it. And I'd really like to know how to mix. Just show enough mix, And back in the day, they used to have to carry all those crates. Are y'all old enough to remember that?
I do.
Yes. They had all them crates. Now they like, listen, can you play this for me? They be like, ding, 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 ding. That's it. So those are some of the things that I want to do. I want to be a brick shit house. I do. I really do. I just got to really make up my mind that I want to do it, because that means I'm going to have to be a little more physical. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to exert myself more. And I get on myself sometimes because I can do it. I can prioritize that. What do you want to prioritize in your life?
Right. And it's a great time. It's sometimes when we're in the midst of a life that we're not loving, it's hard to identify the things that we do want. It's a lot easier. So only one person wrote what they wanted to do, and it was Garden for My Soul, who wrote, I want to see the world and I'll be started in Panama.
Hey, come on down.
And that's it. Like it's really hard for your imagination to take you out of the muck when you're mired in it. And so I can tell you the things I want to do, the things I want to learn, but I also know that my life tends to be a little freer, right? And I have more space for my imagination to run wild than a lot of other people do, because I don't get the Sunday scaries, because I ain't got to see nobody on Monday except for Stephanie. And she don't scare me that much. A little bit, but not that much.
Every day is Saturday.
Day is Saturday. Yeah.
Right. Every day is Saturday. That's that one day of the week where you don't have to go to work the next day. And you don't have to be to work that day. And so even if you have work, it feels different to me. And I still feel, even if your life is busy, you still have, and I think that if we're not doing it, and I want to talk to everybody that's on this call tonight that is living in an international space and living your best life, think about it. I mean, just really think about it. And like you said, Roshida, I mean, some people, their minds won't even let them go there. Their minds won't even let them go there just because we're conditioned to not being able to do things. Mm-hmm. But to be able to say, Nana's being selfish. Okay. At the end of the day, you can call it what you want to call it. I've raised children. I've gotten up and done that grind every day from the time I was 14 years old, and it's like, now it's time for me, and I don't, even the people that you allow yourself to be with, the people that you allow yourself to be with, they need to be feeding your soul. They need to be the kind of people that you smile when you see them coming in the door. Listen, I love people and everything like that, but I can't have all your problems. I cannot take responsibility or take on all of your stuff. And I will cut people off. I'm sorry if you're doing too much, because for me, my heart and my mind is just too important right now that I'm at peace. And that is my thing. Peace is the new prosperity, baby. I don't know if you ain't heard yet. That's it. Peace is the new prosperity. It's better than money.
That's right. That's right. You said are you putting yourself in the blue zone? Do you have am I the only person who does this? Do you have a goal age? Right. You're making sure that you make it to this age still with the good mind and a good body.
If I tell you what I'm thinking, I think you're going to judge me.
No.
Promise me you won't judge me. Promise.
I asked you the question.
Okay. So I don't want to wear diapers.
Okay.
Okay. I don't want to wear diapers. I really don't want to wear diapers. At this point in my life, I just feel like when it's time for me to wear diapers, it's probably time for me to go on home and be with the Lord.
Well, technology changes. This is not judging. This is me saying things may not look like they look like before, right? So a person who may need to wear diapers this year, in a couple years, it may look like something totally different and may not affect your life at all, a person's life at all.
I don't want to wear diapers. I'm so scared of that. But what is your blue zone number? You got one?
I want to live to be 120. I think it's possible. I want to be in a good mind and a good body at 120 years old. 100-year-olds right now. So right now there are 100-year-olds in good minds and good bodies.
Okay.
Right. My parents had a neighbor who was almost 100, and she was doing great until her kids made her move out of her house and into another. Anyway, right? 100 today, you can be 100-year-old in a good mind and a good body.
Yeah.
So I figure by the time I get there, 120 will be a goal, right? Because by the time I get to 100, everybody's going to be 100. Everybody's going to be in a good mind and a good body. I'm going to need a little stronger goal, right? Yeah. So blue zone.
What about you, Roshida?
I had never thought about it before, so I have some homework to take away from today.
Okay.
Come up with a number.
The invisible diapers.
Something. It's gonna be. It might be something. Yeah, something might come along that makes that no big deal anymore.
Yeah, I want to live as long as I feel good. And let me tell you something. I'm very grateful to God, because I'm gonna tell you something. I'm 60 years old and I do not take not one medication, not one. I take DHEA to keep my attitude right. You know what I'm saying? I take a little St. John Warts because sometimes I get some attitude.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm not on any prescription drugs. And I want to live as long as I am able to know where I am and to know my family. I feel so bad for people when it seems like when you're getting older, either your mind or your body goes. You ever notice that? It's like either, you got in this great health, but your mind is gone, or you're really, really sharp, but your body is going. So when you make that blue zone and you get them both, That's the piece. And so whatever that number is for me, I just want to be around long enough that my grandkids can remember me, and have a real memory of me, and so that's kind of where I am with that.
That's good. How old are your grandkids now?
7. I have 2 grandchildren. My husband's daughter and my daughter had babies on the same day at the same time. At the same time.
In the same place?
No, one was in Florida and one was in Texas. But they literally had babies at the same time. Like their birth certificates are like July 25th, 133, and the other one is July 25th, 141. Something like that.
Crazy.
And that's just amazing, right? And then they had those children on our anniversary, on our 17th anniversary. So their birthday is our anniversary. So nobody thinks about us anymore on July 25th. And we just accepted that. But, I think getting older, and, thinking about my mom who passed at 45, and I have no recordings of her or anything like that. A lot of times when I'm putting stuff out on the internet, I want my grandchildren and my children just to be able to go and, be with me whenever they want to, so that's important as long as I got my mind right. So if nobody has any admissions about what they really want to do with their life at this time.
Oh, no, wait, a couple people came in.
Okay, come on, bring it. What they say?
Exodus squad member and friend,
okay.
Evelyn Golden, hey girl, hey. And Denise Townsend both said they want to learn. After you said you want to learn how to swim, they said they want to learn how to swim. And Lillian Howard said you're running down the list, her entire list of things. Like she wants to learn guitar. I think guitar and swimming. And I see that you did your own rap during the one of the tours in August.
Yeah, told you that.
They in the chat snitching on you, girl.
Listen, I bring it. I brings it. I give everything I have to the people who invest in me. That is just it. And they continue to be family. I get emotional thinking about how good my life is. And that's what I want for everybody. I want that for everybody. I just could not have imagined being able to live out my life in this way. And I just want everybody to feel like they want that for themselves.
Yes.
And your grandkids can come and see you, and you can go and see them when you go back for your doctor's appointment.
We have a great question from Anthea.
Okay.
Let me ask it. Can you please discuss whether you received backing from family and or friends to move abroad?
I'll go.
I love it. Who wants to go first? Anyone?
Stephanie wants to go first.
I'm sorry, Char. I thought you said you'll go. No, well, so when I left, my people thought maybe I was losing my mind. I was having a breakdown because I said I was going to Thailand for, a while. No, but I didn't need them to back me, because I was grown and I knew things that they didn't know. I had watched YouTube videos, right? I had gotten in community with people who were around the world. And so they knew the fear. I knew the real. Wow. So no, I did not have backing, but you know what I did? I left.
Look at you now. Look at you. Just all fabulous. Living your best life.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. If I needed their backing, I would still be in Delaware shoveling snow twice a day. Right. Because sometimes you got to shovel the snow to get out of the driveway and then to get back in the driveway. Yeah. Which, I hated that. I can't tell you how much I hated that, right? I would still be shoveling snow. If I needed them to be like, you know what? I think that's a fantastic idea. I'd probably be in graduate school racking up the debt. I'd be shoveling snow. I'd be putting a new roof on the house, right? All the
Mhm.
things that do not bring me joy. I would to be doing all the
Yes.
things that I expressly hated about my life. They would
Uh-huh.
still be my everyday. So no,
Yes.
no to needing the backing.
Definitely no to needing the backing. And I think it's easier now when you have communities, like when you have Charlotte's community that you can meet on the tour, when you have Exodus Summit, where you can get the support from people who understand, who don't think it's crazy, because it's really hard to make a change when you're surrounded by people who are like, is it drugs? Are you insane? Are you poor? Like what, like, you know what I mean? Like when people are looking for the reason that you're making this unconventional change, the reason you're falling down, right? It's really hard to make that change. I didn't get pushback from my family where I thought I was gonna get. I thought my mom and dad were gonna be like, absolutely not. What do you mean? Um, but my friends, especially ones who were in the same career I was in, were like, "You're doing what?" Okay, so I'm gonna keep sending you jobs the entire time. So whenever you're ready to come back, there's a job waiting for you. And I was like, but and I thought I was going to come back, but even when I just said I'm leaving for a year, they were like, "That's crazy. Like, do you hear yourself being crazy?" Um, and some friends were supportive, but there wasn't really anyone I could talk to about the experience. And that's why when we talk to you guys about getting in community, that's what we're talking about. Hearing from other people who look like you, who've been to the places you want to go to, who have been there for a long time and know what to expect, who can help you figure out what to expect when you get there, is kind of priceless. That's one of the things we
Priceless.
love about Exodus Summit is that we get everyone together to say like, oh, I want to be in Panama. I want to be in Vietnam. And people make their friends and come up in these accountability groups with each other based on where they're going, based on maybe when they're leaving. And that's the community you need. That's the community you need to focus on, not the community of people
Yes.
who are like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like that,
Mhm.
focus on the community that can help you get there, not the community that's questioning why you want to do it.
Yeah, I think that's another good thing about the tour. The tour is like, with the tour, we have 2 Zoom calls before the tour starts. We have a Zoom call 30 days before the tour, and then we have another Zoom call like 7 days before the tour. But what is so good is that, we introduce ourselves and you kind of get like a soft introduction to the people you're going to be rolling with. And it's like when you're starting to come in from the airport, they're like, okay, I'm going to go and get something to eat. Daiquiri 23, which is a Black owned and Afro-Panamanian owned restaurant and an event center right behind the hotel where we stay. I always put their information in the WhatsApp chat, and people go and they before the tour even begins. If they get there early, they're over there having dinner and stuff like that. And I think it means a lot. And when you see other people that are doing it as opposed to people that are not, it just is an encouragement for you. For my situation, I think that, I think people say to me, you really did it. I don't think nobody gave me pushback. My daughter said to me, and I'm sure I have jokingly, like, Ma, what about your grandkids? And I didn't have no grandkids. It wasn't even no grandkids thought about at that point. I'm like, girl, look, I love you to life. But if you have an opportunity to live your life, please do not worry about leaving me behind. We'll be all right. And nowadays, with technology and everything, you don't have to be separated. I'll tell you what I think is just the sexiest thing ever. One of the sexiest things. Because exercise is sexy. I'm just saying to your face, exercise. Don't you feel sexy after you work out?
No, I'm sorry. I'm tired.
You will next time you work out. You're gonna be like, you know what? Charlotte was right. I feel kind of free and
Okay.
sexy. Yes, baby. Because
Okay.
you know what's sexy to me about that? What's sexy to me about that is taking time. It's one thing when you're walking and because I'm not sedentary at all, but it is one thing when you are taking that time out of your day to do something good for your body. I'm sorry, that's sexy as hell. I don't care what nobody said. Y'all put in the chat if that shit is sexy. Now listen, the other thing that's sexy is having friends in all these daggone time zones. Shit is sexy. That's sexy right there. That's living life. That's something I would have never expected. When you say call me, you're like, oh, we can't call her now. Oh my God, it's like 3 hours. Oh my God, she's like 10 hours behind us. Like, oh my God, what time is it in Japan? You know, oh, but you want to get your friends together and everybody on different time zones? That's living. That's
I'm
living.
coming.
Every time zone every time zone that your friends are in is just a place where you can go and visit.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome for us to be doing this. And I think that the other thing that I want women to do, not just women, because let me tell you, the brother was like, oh my God, you're going to be on with Stephanie and Roshida. I mean, Roshida, the Jice was like, I got my Mexican residency because of her. He came on my tour, but he was just like, you know, you were one of the first people that he started following. And of course, everybody just loves you guys. But I just think that having this network, you know, having friends that are experiencing different things that can tell you firsthand what's happening in other places and what it's like, and to be able to be in a world where we can live actually somewhat vicariously through other people. But one thing I'm saying, and I'm going to be quiet. You said vibe. Roshida, you said vibe. You know, when Mexico City just felt right. You know, that's a big piece. You can watch, for those that are on the other side of this call, you can watch Roshida, you can watch Stephanie, you can watch me, you can watch anybody living anywhere doing their thing. But there is nothing like boots on the ground, baby. Nothing like boots on the ground, because then you experience it for yourself. And sometimes it's not necessarily the facts, it's the feeling.
Definitely.
Said what I said.
Definitely. Agreed.
That's it. That's right.
That we said in particular, what are the dates of the Exodus Summit this year?
Good point.
October 11th through 14th this year. So coming up in a couple of weeks. Oof.
It's coming up fast.
Yes, ma'am.
Friends, Charlotte is going to put the link in the description of the video if it's not there yet. I think the live chat wouldn't let Roshida put the link in because she's not.
Show up?
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Boom.
Because, you know, YouTube is like that about links. But it'll be Charlotte's actual link, so that you can register for Exodus Summit using her link, will be in the description of the video once we're done, if it's not there already. You want to make sure, if you're coming to the summit and if you appreciate the community, the platform that Charlotte has created, you want to make sure you use her link to register, okay? Because it's not going to cost you anything extra, but it gives her a little something, a little gift, okay? That is a way that you can thank her for creating this space that she has created for all of you. Also, like her tours, I've been in two different times. I just happened to be in an airport lounge and a Black woman has walked up to me and said, I know who you are, but also I'm just flying home from Charlotte's relocation tour in Panama. Like 2 different times, one woman by herself and one couple. And they could not stop raving about the experience, like changing experience, being in that in community with you, on that tour with you, seeing Panama with you and with your group. I believe that Exodus Summit plus Charlotte's relocation tour would be an amazing 1-2 punch for somebody who is really ready to take some action, who's really ready to get this new life started, right? You ready to go ahead? We talked about reinvention. We talked about healthcare. We talked about the amazing parts of being in a new place. If you're ready, I think we've talked today about like an amazing 1-2 punch that'll get you out the door.
And we didn't mention this earlier, but the summit is all online. So once you get your tickets, you get to watch it from wherever in the world you are. Replays are available for about 2 weeks until the end of October.
No,
Until
it's
the end of
October.
the end of October if you buy the weekend pass, and till next September, the end of next September, if you get the all access pass. So you have a while to rewatch the things and kind of let that information soak in. I didn't know it, but I found out this year that we have people who've played at least one session from last year every single day. They've watched at least one
Wow.
session from last year's summit.
And it's good to
Yeah.
have that plan, because you may not be available at that moment. Sometimes it's hard for me to watch videos.
Yeah.
But it's such good information. And I think my first time attending was last year.
Okay.
And I think my favorite one was you, Stephanie, talking about you were talking about the YouTube thing, and you showed us your back office. I said, girl, no joke. Let me tell you, her sister was inspired. I was like, did you say that? Girl, everybody was talking about it. And I really enjoyed Katrina Haynes, the Haynes Global Tax Experts. I just did a video with her, and it's like some of the people, I just wrote down the name because it was so many good things, and it's like stuff that you can come back to. But you said people actually come, and I'm actually, engaging with Katrina at this point. So that's like, and then also one of the sisters that is the Afro minimalist.
Christine Platt this year. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I, Jewel, Miss Bohemian Soul, my sweetie. Hey, Jewel, if you out there, she told me about her. She mentioned her. I had my book club read her book, and she actually came on my book club and talked to us. And she's amazing. And I'm just so glad, because declutter is a big piece too. Declutter is, listen, if y'all are thinking about making a move, just start getting real with yourself about all that stuff that you got to go through and get rid of. I mean, it's a thing. So it's like a whole package. It really is. And you guys touch on some really, good stuff, because some people need to work. So you're giving that information, the healthcare piece, and, all the other great nuggets. So I'm really looking forward to the summit this year. I am.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
So I also appreciate you sharing the compliments about Black expats in Panama cultural relocation tour, because people do say that it is life-changing. And I love that, because, and I mean, the last tour we had on BEIP 31, it's like the trending word was spiritual. It was such an amazing group. Now, 26 is still number one, because
you have them ranked, Charlotte?
Oh yeah, we got ranks, baby. We got ranks, and 26 killed them. 26 is like the model BEIP tour group. I mean, honestly, they are like, they just on fire, you hear, and just the way that they connected, they like communicate with each other in this chat group, because we create a chat group for each tour. It's just amazing the things that they've done. I mean, it's just, totally amazing. But the one thing about this last tour was like, people was like, they found confirmation, and they just had a real spiritual experience here. And when I come and I bring people, and don't get it twisted. I mean, Black expats in Panama cultural relocation tour is every bit as professional and even more than some other, things that you might do. But we take that time, baby. We take that time to let you know about the Afro culture. And guess what, guys? That is what we connect to. That is what the people on this tour connect to. They connect to that. They connect to Cologne, where they say, don't go. I could just go on and on about that tour. But anyway, I love it. I love bringing it to the people, and I'm there for every single tour, every single day. I stay at the hotel with the groups, and I just love it. And for those women, we're getting ready to have a special tour January 5th to the 12th. It's completely sold out. And it's Deborah Vowry's group. I did a special tour for the 60 plus Black women expats because they trailblazers, baby.
Yeah.
But I mean, we have like 32 women coming and I just, that's it. That's it. I don't want us being tight on the bus. Never. Never want to be tight on the bus. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
And so that is sold out. But what I had offered was that there were so many women that wasn't able to come. And so I said my December tour still has space and my February tour still has space. And if they wanted to come, then I would give them $100 off the December or February tour, and that offer expires September 30th. So that is just my way of saying, and it's going to be other sisters on any of my tours that you come and you can connect and relate to. And you can always stay extra days for vacation and to see other areas, and we can help facilitate that as well. But this has just been an amazing experience. Roshida, thank you so much for helping me with the comments and everything. And guys, I'm gonna go back and take a look when this is done. I just can't be doing too many things at one time. It's just too much. It's just too much.
Doing a fantastic job, Charlotte. Fantastic job.
Thank you. So I just want to give you guys the last word, and then we'll go ahead and close out. And if there's nothing more.
I see a couple of questions in the chat about Mexico and Mexico City. Roshida Dowe has lived in Mexico for years and years, and her YouTube channel is at Roshida. So if you go to her channel, you'll find the information that you need about life in Mexico. My YouTube channel is Stephanie Perry. I am one of those people who's not blessed to have a first name that is original, okay? My YouTube channel is Stephanie Perry. I'm a house sitter, and I've traveled around full time, and I've been spending time in Costa Rica lately. So those are our separate YouTube channels. But friends, seriously, you're invited to Exodus Summit. You're invited to Exodus Summit. I think it's like Move Abroad School. It's Move Abroad School for Black women who are ready to go ahead and put some plans down, even if you don't yet know what that's going to look like, even if you don't know where you might want to go, even if you don't know how you're going to solve the problems of money and school and what about your house and what, right? That is the time that you come to Exodus Summit so that you can get some help with that instead of either stressing about it or just giving up and quitting the whole thing. So you're welcome to join us at Exodus Summit 2024, and Charlotte's link will be in the description of this video. How did I do, Roshida?
I think you did an excellent job. Exodus Summit is a thing that changes lives every year. And this year, we are really focused on helping Black women and their families move abroad. If you're a Black woman, we would love to see you at Exodus Summit this year. We know that Black women, like Charlotte said before, Black women are the ones that are leading this. So if you want to lead your family to a new life, a better life, come on through.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or if you want to leave them behind, girl, you could do that too.
This time I didn't say it. I want that on record. I was not the one who said it this time. Thank you.
They need passports. For those of you who are on this call who don't have passports, let that be your first thing. Yes. If you gotta save money because you getting the kitchen remodeled or you doing all that, listen, passports are not cost prohibitive now for anyone. Mostly anybody that's taking the time to watch this video can afford a passport. Even if you have to put half of it away now and half later because you got other things going on, make it a priority. There are a lot of things going on in the United States, and sometimes, it's just things are very unpredictable right now. And right now, you can get a passport for way less than $200, right? But listen, and I'm no scholar, but there's a lot of us leaving, and a lot of other people are leaving the United States too. And I think that at some point the government is going to be like, you know what? I mean, they want us. They've been telling us to go back to Africa since forever, but they want us to leave our money. So I think that as we start to, the spending is less and things like that in the United States, that at some point they could change. It could change. It could change how much a passport costs. I was talking to Halisi and Rica. She was like, you know what? It wouldn't even take a law. You're right. She said they could just change the price. And then for those who don't have like big, like you said, people were coming on your tour and they had like people that's loaded with money or, more comfortable. Listen, believe it or not, I really, really encourage people who have modest retirements to consider international spaces, because you can find a place that is going to afford you a better life, even with the little bit of money that you have compared to trying to live in a lot of spaces in the United States. So I said what I said. So listen, thank you, ladies, for being on the show. I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. And this interview will be available on Black Expat Radio and also on my podcast, Black Expat Journey. So you have any questions, get at me. And I hope to see you all in Panama. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much, Charlotte.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Hey, listen, I love you. I love you. I love you. And there's just nothing you can do about it. Ciao. Bye. Does that mean we're off the